our way.
Do we have to wait for the microphone?
No, very informal.
Sure.
Well, what brings you back, or why this weekend?
Yeah. Well, I've long wanted to come back for this type of alumni reunion. See a lot of former players. I've been able to come back for the graduation a few years ago, and once or twice. It's just so far to go with our big family. It's hard to make that cross country trip. But we were actually down in Florida for the kids' spring break, so I was able to I was so close. I couldn't pass on getting up here. And although I haven't been around very much, I've always pulling for the pack, and NC State will always be a special place for me and my family. Although a lot of my little ones never lived here other than the oldest, but my wife Tiffany and I and Hallie, the oldest, we pull for NC State. She's got a couple NC State T-shirts that are some of her favorite shirts she wears, and so it's great to come back and see what has changed and what still looks the same, and just brings back so many good memories.
So what's changed?
Well, gosh, you're just pulling in right here, seeing that big indoor over there, and I've seen the Vaughn Towers and the new press box stuff. I've seen that, but I haven't been gotten to really take it all in with it not being anything else going on. So, but a lot of it hadn't changed. The building still looks brand new, looks awesome, and just ran into D'Antonio Burnett. And the fact that he's the head strength coach, and Clayton White, those guys you played with that are now coaching here, just tells you how time flies. But it's really awesome to be back. I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of the guys I haven't seen or talked to in a long time.
It seemed like 16 years since the first time you came here.
Well, yeah, in some ways, yeah. But I can remember some. It seems like yesterday in a lot of ways because of how vivid and clear the memories are. And from that first game, I was just mentioning that in there, Arkansas State, and that pouring rainstorm coming out of that other tunnel. This was still a grass hill, and that old scoreboard, and to think that has been that long ago. But it's that was the beginning of what for me football-wise has been a very special and blessed career. And those all 51 games and those 4 years are, gosh, I wouldn't have traded it for anything. And it's fun to come back and I'm looking forward to all the conversations with the guys, and because it always, you have a lot of stories and memories that I'm able to share and talk about. But when you get with the guys, they'll bring up many more that you've forgotten about, and I'm sure we'll have some good laughs and enjoy visiting.
Bill, Coach, during the last 2 or 3 years, he brought in a bunch of early high school graduates. You're kind of the poster child to that because you got here for spring practice as a freshman. Looking back on that, just how beneficial was that for you?
Yeah, it was. It's crazy now. It's just so common, but it was, and that's really credit to Coach Pate, who I just got to see just now, and he kind of brought it up, and we thought, what in the world does that mean? And it was so brand new, and he said, I'm telling you, you come in here in the spring, you got a chance to be the starter right away. And I thought, gosh, I'm not going to get to play basketball and have that relaxed spring semester, your senior year in high school. But he was right, and it was huge. I don't think there's any chance I would have been a start. I would have started that first game that year as a freshman, if not for the spring. Norm Chow here and learning that offense, and really all getting to start from on the same level with the new staff coming in, and it just gave me just from knowing your way around campus and just everything, not only just the football, but I came in barely over 200 pounds that winter, and so I added about 20 pounds that year. Coach Stroud, Meyer, and those guys were getting me physically able to be ready to go. But you see it now more and more common, and it does make sense because the spring, you can do so much in the summer, but to actually have spring and get to practice with the coaches those 15 times, I guess it is, if it's still the same rules, very beneficial.
Did you pack your softball disguise?
No.
Your mullet?
No, I didn't pack it.
I had money on you playing in that game tomorrow, actually.
Yeah. Well,
sneaking out there.
One day maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe they'll let me throw one more pass at Jerricho, maybe tomorrow, we'll see. But yeah, no, I didn't bring the disguise, but the mullet and the was a good look.
Yeah.
It doesn't really disguise. It lasted about 5 minutes, but it was a good softball outfit.
You talked about coming back to campus for graduation, you gonna go over, see anything or do anything on campus?
Yeah,
It's changed up even much more than over here.
Yeah, I'm just not here very long. Try to just soak in seeing a lot of all my old buddies, but I may try to ease by. I always try to when I'm here, ride by our old apartment and those kind of things,
Yeah.
and see it. But I certainly will if I have time. But it's good. It still feels like home. It really does. I mean, it was once home, and our early family, our family really got started, and so it felt that way coming in here just a little while ago.
Did you show your kids your name and number up on the stadium?
Yeah, I was able to show Hallie, my oldest, came with me when I came back for the graduation ceremony, so I was able to show her all those things because she was little bitty. I was showing her where she lived and where this and where we got ice cream and all those kind of things, and yeah, I have. And if they show it on the if they show it on the TV broadcast, I'm able to pause it and show my little guy now, Gunner. He's into it. He's 8 and he's into it big time. He was saying "Go Wolfpack" to me today before I was leaving, and he wasn't alive to see a play, but he's all the Rivers are Wolfpack fans.
You mentioned 51 games, the Arkansas State game, the first one. What specific memories or what things really stick out for your time playing on the field here, Carter-Finley, which is celebrating a big birthday this year?
Yeah, well, the first game obviously, is obviously always special, and and I've said this. I said this I think way back on the day of the game, but I was thankful that we were kicking off. We were kicking off because I needed a little time to catch my breath after coming out of the tunnel and just seeing all the. I mean, you play in Alabama high school football. We would play in front of 8,000 or 10,000 once or twice, but you get out here and I thought, goodness gracious, I've never seen so many people at a game, and the energy and the fact that I was starting the game, and so. That's the first one I have. I think the next one that comes to mind is Georgia Tech that same year, a few weeks after on Thursday night, and that overtime game, Gordon Robinson taking that screen for a touchdown. We still talk about Lee Corso and Herb Street on that broadcast, and Corso saying, on Corn's run. We still laugh about that, and then Corn catching the go route there that ended in overtime. Those are early on, gosh, and then the last one, Florida State beating them senior year, winning that game at home, and shoot, I don't remember who, but there was players on the goalpost, and there was all kind of stuff going after that game. That was exciting. The Virginia game senior year comes to mind. Those are some of obviously the good ones. There were a handful that weren't so good, but most of them were good. There was a lot of great Thursday nights and Saturday afternoons here in Carter-Finley, and it was a special place to play, and I was. A lot of my teammates in San Diego or other players I've run into that played here on opposing teams have said what a neat place it was to play. They thought it was a cool atmosphere down low, and the fans are on top of you. Gosh, they've told me, the fans are right on the bench, behind us. So other people think it's a neat place too, and the fact that we can call it our home stadium and the atmosphere that it is really awesome.
I had Coach Pate take me down memory lane before. He was saying that strange time when Michael Caine was replaced and Chuck Amato was hired, and I don't know how serious you were about not coming at that point, but what did he have to say to you?
I just remember. I remember being in the car, which I'm trying to remember. I'm thinking it was around Thanksgiving, right? When
it was
North
there.
Carolina was right there.
Yeah.
So we were driving to my grandmother's house, and about 2 hours away, and I remember hearing Michael Caine fired on the radio
in Alabama,
riding down the road in Alabama, and I remember thinking, sitting in the back seat, I can remember like yesterday thinking, what in the world am I going to do now? I had not committed or anything, but that's where I was going. I was coming here, and so I thought, now what? And am I going to have to go see if I can talk Auburn out of not making me play tight end? Or am I going to have to go? Who knows where? And
Cutcliffe, right? Liked you.
What's that?
Cutcliffe liked you at Ole Miss, right?
And Ole Miss, and have a very fair competition with Eli. That I was told. So those my options weren't great. So, but I really didn't know. And then, but Coach Pate just kept saying, just hang with us, please hang with us, see who we hire, hang with us a little longer. And so I did, and I really do. I've said this, but I think Coach Pate deserves a lot of credit for holding this thing together during that transition, because he was able to keep a lot of recruits that were on the fence. He was able to keep them coming. And I know myself and Jerricho are both two guys that were in that boat. And then when Coach Amato got hired, he came to Athens High School and sat in there in my dad's office there at the school, and we got to talking, kind of same conversation. Well, who else is in this? And I'm telling him, well, Auburn wants me, but they're mentioned tight end. Ole Miss, but Eli's already there, and so I'm kind of naming all these things. And so he kind of, I'll never forget, he kind of looked at me and said, well, so is there anybody else really in this? Or are you coming? And I kind of thought to myself, I guess this is it, And I said, I'm coming, and that was it. And then he just, and that was without knowing who the offensive coordinator or anything was going to be. He just said, Coach said, I promise you, we're going to get somebody who's going to throw it, and you'll fit in with. And then, I think it was a week or two after I was here, Coach Chow got hired, and obviously his resume spoke for itself, and was able to get off to a good start.
What has the support you've gotten from NC State fans since you left been like?
It's been awesome. I tell you, and maybe surprisingly, maybe not, out there in San Diego, there's been many times where you run into NC State people, either alums or just people that went there or moved there, or whatever. And so it's even out there. Every now and then I'll run into somebody that gives me the hey Wolfpack, go Pack, and just at different times. I remember coming. We played Carolina my rookie year. I wasn't playing, but there was a lot of State fans there when it was a little more brand new. Obviously, I just left. And so it's been awesome, and I think again there's been a lot of NC State guys that have gone on and played very, very well and played and done a lot of good things that the school can be proud of what a lot of their guys have gone on to do.
There's some really cool pictures of you and Russell before or after games when you guys have played against each other. What are those conversations like in terms of how much NC State might be mentioned?
Yeah, well, not a ton, just because again, it's at the heat of it's a preseason game where we're both saying, "Hey, good luck, have a heck of a year," pulling for you. It's those types of conversations. We played in the regular season, 2 years ago, but it's good. I mean, it's certainly you feel like there is a tie there when I see him. You feel like we have that in common, right. And he's obviously off to an awesome start in his career. And then of course Mike Glennon's been playing and done some good things early on in his career in a tough situation really. So it's pretty cool when you think about it. 3 guys from NC State have been starting in the NFL in the last couple of years. That's 3 out of 32. There's only 32 spots, so that's pretty cool and something that I think people all when they see us they think of NC State.
Right.
You and Jerricho have special chemistry, both from Alabama. How gratifying has it been for you to see him do well?
Yeah, it's been awesome. And I tell you, this was, of course, I didn't have any pull at this point. Not that players have any say now in who we draft or who we get. But our draft year, of course, I'd just been picked, and this the next day, and I'm lobbying, take Jerricho. Take Jerricho. He'll play for. I said he'll play for 10 years. Guarantee he'll play for 10 years. I don't care what his 40 time was, And it turns out here he is. He just finished up his 12th year. And been on a handful of teams, but everybody I've talked to, Roethlisberger loved him. He was like, Jerricho is one of my favorite guys, and obviously what he's done now here in Carolina. But yeah, Jerricho, we still keep in touch, as much as we can. We're just also busy during the season, and then obviously we live in different places during the off season. But he and I keep in touch, and we go way back from playing against one another. I know some of you heard the story, but in high school we played them in a playoff basketball game, and the game before, I was on fire. I was shooting really good and scored a bunch of points, and so we're playing for the game to go to the Final Four, and I literally the old term guard him when he gets off the bus. He guarded me I couldn't even get a sniff. He shut me completely down. He followed me around that court. It was a long day, but then we were able to flip it and beat them in the playoffs in football, and I was able to intercept a pass or two that was headed his way on defense. So we laugh about those times, but he's done an awesome job.
All right, guys, I got to get him upstairs to a meeting. Coach, you got one more?
What's your impression about what Doran's doing?
I think he's doing a good job. Again, I'm so far out there, and our seasons are obviously doing the same. I'm really just meeting him for the first time in person. We visited a little bit long distance, but shoot, his track record and what he's done in places before here has been really good, and he seems to fit the mold of what an NC State guy is all about. So, shoot, I know a lot is talked about the SEC, but the ACC is a heck of a conference, especially as it's changed. It's not the ACC as I remember it with all the new teams, but you look at the teams that you got to play and compete with each and every week. It's tough. It's a tough league, but certainly believe he can get us where we want to go.
Last thing, Philip, just talk about, you've been in the league 10, 12 years now. Super Bowl, you getting kind of anxious about, getting to the big game here?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's always that's the goal, like it is here, to win a conference championship and win a national championship. That's the same as it is up there. It's every team's goal every year, and I want to do it for our team and our organization and our city. It hasn't been done there in San Diego. So I want to do it for those reasons, and really more so you can with your 53 as we have up there that are on the active roster with your guys, you can say we're the best. We are the best in the world, and that's really why you want to accomplish it, not for any other reasons. And so we haven't done that yet, but there's been some guys that didn't do it until years 13, 14, 15, 16, which are coming up for me. So hopefully it's right around the corner.
Thank you, sir.
All right, y'all. Thanks.